believe and act as if it were impossible to fail. Charles F. Kettering, inventor with over 140 patents and honorary doctorates from nearly 30 universities.
What is the language of leadership? It is the skills, traits, lessons learned, communications, and inspirations of leaders. The Language of Leadership podcast will help you develop the successful tools renowned leaders have discovered and have used effectively, sharing with you how to be the leader you desire to be and the leader your team will desire to follow. Now, here is your host, Chuck Marting.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marting, and this week we're going to talk about a subject or a leadership principle, and that is acting as if. Now, this is a leadership principle that you can help yourself in building your self-confidence and your ability to act when guiding, directing, or coaching your team. You know, to start off with, have you ever witnessed a leader, a new leader to a team, not know exactly where to start? They often seem unorganized, unsure, or not even certain what exactly to do in their new leadership role. I think we've all witnessed this. And you know, a lot of times it can be contributed to the leader not having been taught or even given the tools to be an effective leader. Leadership isn't about your title, nor is it about bossing others around. Being a strong leader means thinking about the team's needs before your own, helping other people to grow and maximize their own full potential, and sharing credit when it's due. The more qualities of a leader that you begin to exhibit, the more obvious of a choice you'll be for the actual promotion down the road. Now, I've seen this especially with leaders who have been promoted within or advanced to the position of a leader. A lot of times, this has happened because of the performance of that individual or the observations that the organization has made, feeling that based on that individual's performance of the individual, they would be an ideal leader. Now, sometimes this works, other times it becomes a huge mistake, hurting not only the productivity of the team, but also their willingness to work as a team because they feel the leader is inept or unable to lead them. Acting as if is one of the greatest strategies for success in helping a leader act as if they are already where they want to be as a leader. Now, this means thinking like, talking like, dressing like, acting like, and feeling like you have already become a successful leader and leading your team. Acting as if sends a powerful command to your subconscious mind to find creative ways to achieve your goals. It causes the reticular activating system, or RAS, in the brain to start noticing anything that will help you in succeeding as a leader, and then it sends a strong message to the universe that this is the end game. It is something that you really, really want. You know, I really started to understand this principle with RAS when I bought my new truck. And it was the Dodge Ram pickup truck that I'd been wanting for so long. But you know what? The very next day, not only was I seeing brand new Dodge Ram trucks, but I was automatically, without even really thinking about it, seeing brand new Ram trucks with the same color of my truck, where before I had never seen that before. And you have a lot of people that will explain that same thing, that same scenario. It's the same as if you're in a group or a large gathering of people, and all of a sudden you can hear somebody say your name, or you can hear a conversation going on that you have intimate knowledge about, and you pick that up in that group of all these individuals, that is your reticular activating system picking up on those things and your brain helping to notice or to pick those things out as you're sitting there communicating and talking with other people. I've had that happen a number of times, and it's wild when it does. All of a sudden, you start picking up on these things, and all of a sudden, you're like, I never even noticed this before. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing it or hearing it all the time. Now, once on a shift I was on, we had a new team member who came to work for our company who did have previous experience, and he had a really good working knowledge of the job. And he knew exactly what was required for this position. Now, because of his experience, his confidence in accomplishing tasks, and his helping other team members without even being asked or hesitating to help, he acted as a leader with little hesitation, and he got very little blowback from our team, if anything, because of the way he handled himself. He didn't act arrogant or too good for the team, but he had a service mindset, always attempting to help or ask other team members what he could do to help them in accomplishing the tasks that they had. So it wasn't a surprise to anyone on our team a year later when he was made a supervisor. And it was a natural and easy transition, not only for him, but for our team too, because he was already acting as if he was the supervisor, and our team readily accepted him because of their experience and knowledge of him and seeing him as that leader prior to this promotion. Confidence in yourself, or even in the position you are in, sometimes is the biggest hang-up for new or even sometimes experienced leaders. You have to realize that you can begin right now to act as if you have already become a successful leader for your team and a leader that your team will desire to follow, but you have to make that choice. So don't misunderstand. Leadership isn't about your title, and it's not about bossing people around like I talked about before. Being a strong leader means thinking about the team's needs before your own and other people to grow and maximize their potential, and then sharing the credit when it's due and shouldering the blame when that's happened as well. So why do you need to wait to get promoted to start doing any of this? The answer is you don't. So start visualizing yourself as a leader and begin acting as one today. The more qualities of a leader that you begin to exhibit, the more obvious of a choice you'll be for a leadership position. By positioning yourself as someone who's ready to take on more, or after having proven yourself over a longer period of time, you'll be hard to ignore. Over time, you'll have benefited your overall team with your efforts, and this makes it a personal and a collective win for you and for your team. Once you decide to be a leader, all you have to do is start acting as if you already are being, doing, or have that leadership role. How would you act as a leader? How do you carry yourself? How do you talk? How do you dress? How do you treat your team and other people? How do you talk about your team when they're present or when they're away? Once you have a clear picture of this, start being that leader right now. If it's the end of the month and your team is working overtime, or if you have special projects and you know that it's going to be a long grind for the whole team, and the team will be working late that day or that morning or whatever the case may be the first one to show up with food, drinks, or snacks. By boosting your team's morale and encouraging them to give all they have, you've helped the greater good. If you lose a big client and your current manager asks the team what went wrong, you need to be the first to vocalize how you personally could have done better without casting any fault towards anyone else, and take 100% responsibility. And vice versa. If something is a big win, be the first to talk about it. What an awesome job that your team or your team member did on that particular project. By giving the team praise, shouldering a difficult burden, you're positioning yourself as a true team player and a leader. Your team will want to follow you. Successful people exude self-confidence. They ask for what they want and say what they don't want. These individuals believe anything is possible, and they take risks, but they also celebrate all the success with their team. Now, the proper order to accomplish this is to start now and be who you want to be as a leader. Then, once you've established that and you understand that, do the actions that go along with being that leader. You will soon find that you will easily have everything that you want to be successful, everything in life, your health, your wealth, you'll have fulfilling relationships, and social impact will occur. Now, sometimes the question comes up, how do I gain confidence that I need to be a leader? So let's talk about how to develop maximum levels of confidence in yourself by using 5 simple strategies. First, and the most obvious, is going to be you have to believe in yourself. This is sometimes the hardest thing for leaders to do, often bringing up past incidents and judging themselves based on these experiences. It is our responsibility to change our core beliefs and our concepts. It is your responsibility that you must choose to believe that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, because this is the reality, that you can accomplish it. You just have to do it and not be hung up on all these other things in your past. Understand that today is a new day. Today is the day you begin to take on those characteristics, those things that you know are important for a leader to take on, and you begin acting on it. Now, the second is to use positive self-talk and visualization to persuade yourself that you can achieve your goals and that you are able to do it. Now, if you choose to believe in yourself and act as if anything is possible, you'll do the things that are necessary to achieve the results. Now, if you don't use self-talk or visualization, you'll have a much more difficult time achieving your result or accomplishing the tasks that you have, ignoring what needs to be done because it doesn't matter. Either way, this can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You often hear about athletes that use the tools of visualization. You read stories about Kobe Bryant, about Michael Jordan, by Tom Brady. All of these athletes have coaches that help them in visualizing what it is that they're going to accomplish. Many times when you talk to these athletes, they will tell you that they had visualized whatever the accomplishment was for them before it even happened, because they'd already lived it in their mind and in their thoughts. They have already been there. There's a famous quote by Walt Disney's brother when they did a tour of Walt Disney World. And the reporter looked at Walt's brother, and he said to him, "You know, it's a shame that your brother never got to see this, to be able to see what was built and what you have here." And his brother looked at him and he said, "Are you crazy? If it wasn't for Walt's vision, what he saw in the future, you wouldn't be standing here seeing this. It would have never happened." That is powerful. That is the power of using positive self-talk and visualization. Now, the next thing is to give up words like "I can't." Giving up this and other words similar like "I wish," "I could," or "I should," "I don't know how," actually will disempower you and self-sabotage your ability to accomplish what you are wanting or setting out to do. You have to understand that our brain has been proven to show that it is capable of accomplishing and figuring out any task, our thoughts, or any ideas that we have. The words that you think actually affect your brain and your body, and it will prevent you in your ability to do things, or it will help you in accomplishing those things. So it is important that we replace the words such as "I can't" with "I can," "I will," things like that. This was something that was really hard for me at first. But then as I began to practice this, I was able to do this with my kids as well. And whenever they heard or they said the word "I can't," I would look at them and they would go back and say, "I can." And then we would continue the conversation and figure out what it is they needed to do to accomplish those things. And it's the same thing with your team. A lot of times, teams or employees or other people that we work with, we've been quick to give discipline and critiques of negativity to people and slow to give people the praise and the recognition they deserve. And because this has been something that has been a powerful thing in society, a lot of times individuals are not used to receiving that praise. And at first it feels a little bit funny because you're not used to being told, "Hey, you're doing such a great job," or hearing comments of encouragement, especially in the workplace, because of the stress, because of all these other things that come into play. But I can tell you that as you begin to practice this, you'll see a change not only in your team, but the behavior and how they approach each task that you assign them or each thing that you as a team work towards. Now, that comes to the next thing that we want to talk about that goes right along with this and that negative view that people have set in place for us, and that is to ignore what others think of you. It's important for you to understand you are responsible for your choices, your dreams, your goals, not that of your parents, not that of your family, not that of your coworkers, or even your friends. With what they may or may not think of what you are wanting to accomplish, it doesn't matter. Don't listen to what other people think about you. You need to follow your heart, and you need to do what it tells you to do. Don't be so caught up in understanding and believing that you need to do what other people think you need to do. If you understand and know what it is that needs to be done, and you have that ability to carry it out, and you have the tools available to do it, then do it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Just follow through with what you know needs to be done. Now, the next thing, constantly acknowledge your positive past. Sometimes, well, I should probably say oftentimes, we focus on our failures and not our accomplishments, like I talked about just a little bit ago. This is prevalent in our workplace and the culture focusing on the negative instead of the positive. We have that happen all the time. Now, most of us underappreciate or recognize the success that we have had, but in turn, we focus on what we didn't accomplish compared to the number of failures we had. The best way to beat this is to celebrate your accomplishments. Research has shown the more you acknowledge your success and your accomplishments, the more confident you'll become and the more willing to take on new tasks you will be. Remembering that success that you have had in the past will build your confidence that you will continue to have more success in the future. Next, to help you in becoming successful and using these strategies, I would encourage you to do a couple things. First, create a victory log written down, your daily successes. If you don't journal, if you don't write, I would highly suggest that you do. I have been through so many different journals, so many different ways of addressing this. And just to share with you what I have found, there is a journal that is out there that is called Be Fulfilled. And it's put out by Tony Grebmeyer. And I will have that in the show notes for you. But for me, this has been the most powerful journaling tool that I have ever found. I've been able to see and predict what it is that I need to do all in one place. A lot of times with journals, they only have a few things, and there was always other things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to review my day. I wanted to be able to acknowledge those things like we talked about earlier that I accomplished, to be able to document them so I could go back and look at them. I also needed a place where I could write out my schedule, that I could look at it as a glance, but I also wanted some blank pages there because what I have found is that there are times when all of a sudden I get a thought or something comes to me that I've been thinking about and wanting to accomplish, and I need to write it down right then and there. Now, a lot of times in the past, I haven't had that ability with a lot of the journals that I've had. They have a certain format, and that's it. I was really big with the Franklin Covey daytime or the planners that they had, and it was good, but it lacked the different things that I wanted to accomplish. Whose lives do I want to touch that day and make a difference with? Which one of my team members do I want to focus on today to really acknowledge what they do and what they bring to the table? This journal was able to provide me with those things that I was looking for. So not only will I give you that information for the Be Fulfilled journal, but I will also give you a code that if you use it, you get a discount on the journal itself, if that is what you're wanting. And that discount code is my first name, Chuck. If you do that, you'll get a discount on any of the Be Fulfilled journals that you're wanting to look at. The other cool thing is, because a lot of us are on the go, a lot of us have a lot of things going on and we're constantly moving, or maybe you forgot to bring your journal with you. They do have an app for your phone that you're able to follow the same process in your journal, and so that way you can always have it with you as well. I carry my Be Fulfilled journal with me everywhere because I just don't know when that strike of lightning is going to come, where I'm going to get that moment of clarity that I need to write, or I need to write something. It may not be business related. It might be dealing with my family or certain circumstances that we're dealing with that day. But the point is that I have it with me. But I also have the reassurance that if I don't have it with me for some reason, I have the app on my phone. So take a look at it. I think that you'll really enjoy the journal, and you'll see a lot of worth in the way that it was put together and how it's laid out. So next, to help you become even more successful, the second thing I would tell you to do is to spend time each day visualizing yourself in leadership and how you act, how you talk, and how you lead your team, but also lead your team successfully. that is key in this whole thing of visualization. You want to be able to look back and you want to be able to see what it is that you want to accomplish. One of the things that I have done is I have always had or put together what is called a vision board, where I have recognized those things that I'm wanting to accomplish, things that I'm desiring to have in my life, and I've found pictures of those things and been able to put them up on a board and to be able to see them on a daily basis to remind myself. A lot of times you'll have some people that will take the time to print those out, maybe even put them on their mirrors, things like that. Now, there is an acknowledgement exercise that I will share with you as well, where you can download, and this is the mirror exercise. A lot of times we don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't give ourselves the self-help that we need by acknowledging the good things that we did, to be able to help ourselves in staying positive and focused on what it is that we're wanting to achieve and what we're wanting to do. We just get caught up in all the different things and all the craziness of our days, and we forget how important this is. So for us and our family, we have the steps for the mirror exercise that is posted in our mirror. And, one of the things I would tell you when you first start doing this is let your family know that you're going to be practicing this if you choose to do that, so that they don't walk by the restroom or something like that if that's where you choose to do this and they hear you talking when they know nobody else is in there. So they know that you're not losing it. It's interesting because we have that on our mirror, like I said, and when we have guests or people that come over to our house, they go in our bathroom and they see that. And so sometimes it's brought up a lot of really good conversations and being able to help others to be able to do the same thing. So here's my challenge to you. I'll go ahead and attach in the show notes the same sign that we have in our restroom for the self-visualization for the mirror exercise. And here are the things that you're going to do. First, you're going to stand in front of a mirror and you're going to say your name. Next, you're going to appreciate yourself, your accomplishments, your successes, your risks that you've taken that day, disciplines kept, and temptations that have been resisted. And the next part, sometimes is the hardest part for a lot of people, is looking into the mirror at yourself and saying that you love yourself. Then you need to take a deep breath and take it all in. Now, I know that some of this kinds of seems hooky, but I'll tell you what, it works. And I would encourage you and even challenge you to try this for 40 days. Try it for 40 days, 40 nights, okay? And if this doesn't change your perspective and how you look at things, you email me and let me know. But I'll be surprised if it doesn't give you a great tool that you'll want to continue to do. And just try it. I'll tell you, it gets easier. You go about doing it, but the payoff from doing it is so well worth it. And I think you'll really find the greatness in this exercise in helping you to act as if when you're a leader. Next, the proper order of things is to start now. You want to be, and you need to be, and then you need to take actions that go along with being that person. And soon you're going to find out that you easily have everything that you want in your life. Now, if a leader mistreats their team, watch how the employees treat their customers. Remember the old saying, mud rolls downhill? That will be exactly what this type of leadership will experience. Trust begins when we have to sense that another person or a leader is driven by the things other than their own self-gain. That trust can be dissolved really quickly. You have to earn trust by communicating and demonstrating that you share the same values and beliefs that your team does. You have to talk about your why and prove it with what you do. Those who lead are able to do so because those who follow trust the decisions made at the top. They know that you have the best interest of the team at heart. And in turn, those who trust work hard because they feel like they are working for something bigger than themselves. So follow your gut, but also recognize that problems arise when what you decided to do with the team becomes the only measure of success. Remember why you set out to achieve it in the first place. When looking for a new team member, look for those who believe what you believe. When you hire those who believe what you believe, success seems to happen. I hope that this has given you some clarity and some ideas in becoming a better leader. Even if you're already a leader and you're struggling with understanding sometimes what the big picture should be, what your end result is going to be, I hope that learning the tools of acting as if is a tool that will provide you the clarity that you need and give you the success you deserve to be and to have as not only a leader, but a leader of a team. So thank you for tuning into this episode. Please feel free to share this episode with your friends, your relatives, your family. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the podcast, and we greatly appreciate it. And we plan on continuing to bring you episodes that are going to help you in your journey of becoming the leader that you want to be. Take care. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. This podcast is dedicated to help you navigate your leadership journey. You will learn the language and skills you need to be the leader you want to be. Remember, the language of leadership is an art. It is why your team wants to follow you. Take care.